Okay, here we have a pattern. It's formatted in JPEG, which is JPEG. It's basically a line, it's an image, but this is a pattern with lines on a white field. Designed for 8.5 by 11 printing. So the pattern itself would be smaller, obviously. This would be the actual page size. The question was always brought up about importing images into Design Space software on the Cricut cutting machines, the vinyl cutters. I want to do a really quick demonstration on how to prepare these patterns. You can import the actual pattern and go right to work with it, and for the most part the quality of the image will be sufficient for the Cricut machines. You see a little bit of the bit mapping here, the raster quality of this image. Basically that stands for the DPI, which is dots per inch. Every little square is the amount of rasterization of the image, or the quality of it. So what you want to do, if you're trying to print something and you get all jagged lines, it won't happen with this pattern because it's a high quality image. But if you did, so you did have an issue, and if you have a Mac, good for you. This is going to be shown in the preview app on a Mac. You go to preview, you open up the image. This is Christopher's Cross 3 with no numbers, and say you want to put this into Design Space. If it's got a little bit of a problem with the rasterization, the pixels, there's a really easy way to fix that. You go into the tools, and then along the top in preview, you want to go ahead and go to adjust this size. I'm sorry. You go to adjust the size, and this is a custom size. All my images, pretty much my JPEGs, are going to come up 17 by 22. This is twice the size of a normal 8.5 by 11, but will print. It'll be recognized to print on a standard paper format, 8.5 by 11. But here, this is what I was talking about, the rasterization, the DPI, basically the resolution. And it tells you the pixels per inch. So for every inch, you have 72 squares. Alright? So what you want to do, and you can see the file size here is 99K. It's about one megabyte. So you want to go ahead and in here, don't mess with the size here. That you don't have to. Just go right to the resolution. Change that to 300. You see now the actual image itself was increased eightfold to 806 kilobytes. So what's going to happen is when you do this, you're going to scale it proportionately. You don't have to, you could unclick that, but you want to resample the image. Basically it's going to take the image and resample it, redraw it to that resolution. So it's going to clean up any rasterizing, the pixelation you get. It'll clean up the raster. And this is similar to a high-res SVG file, which if you're printing, on your plotter, say 8.5 by 11. Well, I think the size is 20 by 20 is the max. with a higher resolution, you're better off. It'll eliminate any kind of choppiness you got. So if you do have preview, you can do this to prepare for design space. You don't need to with my patterns, but sometimes you may have to. You can import the JPEGs just as they are. They'll cut perfectly. There'll be no choppiness. But if you're concerned, just increase the resolution to 300. And I'm going to do that. And as you can see, now the image, it's instead of 72, it's 300. And you could see if you zoom down here at the size, it's basically you're going to have the same raster quality, or the pixelation quality. So on certain angles you will get more of a choppiness. But if you take this and you zoom it down, it tightens all of that up, really well. And inside Design Space, what you want to do is import your image and then click the areas where you want the machine to remove for your patterns. And you can also do that in preview, and instead of saving this as a JPEG, which that's the original formatting, you can go ahead and export it as PNG, which will give you that alpha background, the remove background feature that you need for your plotter. So here you go. We're going to go to markup. Alright, go to markup, and it shows all your tools you can use, like text and lines and all that. Preview is actually pretty powerful. So here you want to go to the instant alpha. See that alpha is the term they use for remove background. So you go to instant alpha, click that, and then what you want to do is click and hold down, and that's going to select that background. And from here, let me zoom down a little bit. From here, see, it's selecting this background. And you don't want to just leave it at that. You can hit the delete button, right? And then it'll ask you to convert to PNG. And you'll add transparency, which the current document format JPEG does not support. Converting will replace the existing file. Say, alright, let's convert. And as you can see by the checkerboard, all the background has been removed. Now we don't stop there. We want to go ahead and zoom in a little bit. Go back to I think the tool's still open, but we'll go back again, and we'll go ahead and select. And the further you drag away, the more accurate the removal tool works. So you click down, you drag away, you say, alright, that's going to be removed. You go, move away, that's going to be removed. Well, here in the preview, you have to select it and hit delete, the delete button. Select it, move away, hit delete. You hold down the mouse, move away. You see how I moved away that little bit of white line on the left here? Let me zoom in so you can really see that. A lot of folks have issues with the quality of the lines themselves. So you want to go ahead and, as you move away, it goes deeper into the line of the pattern. See, we select it and see the spacing of the dashed line. It goes into the shadowing of this pattern. Hit delete, and it really cleans it up. Here, move away, hit delete. You can tell just by clicking on it. I'm just gonna click and gently move away. You see the white edging around the pink area? that's not selected. So you want to do is move away, and where you click down till all of that disappears. Right? That's how you get a real clean PNG. It also does this in design space. So I don't want that. That's the whole thing. See, just by clicking it, see how it's all jagged and you have issues? You don't want that either. So you want to go ahead and click down, hold it down, move away. Basically, it's probably about a half an inch of mouse movement. Right? And delete it. Even the cleanest images will do that. So you select it, move away, and you can really make a nice PNG. I'm just going to do it fast because I'm used to this stuff. This can also be done in Pages app on the Mac, but I just wanted to show how it's done in preview. Now remember that this is also 300 dpi. This is a high resolution image, and what you can't, to convert this to SVG, you're not going to get it any cleaner than this, trust me. And so I just wanted to show features of preview on a Mac. Delete it. I used a simple pattern because this in preview it takes a little longer. If you're using Pages, it has a little bit more power as far as moving on to the next piece. You don't have to keep hitting the delete button. But it's good to show because I wanted to explain the amount of detail that's removed. Now you see, I moved back, and along the bottom I had a little issue here, but it cleaned it up. And depending on your machine, how much RAM you have also helps. This is using a lot of resources to do this. Alright. Now we removed all the background. We used the alpha PNG filter. It zoomed down. And this is basically now Christopher's Cross 3 PNG, where you can take it and bring it right into design space and work with it. Again, you don't have to do this. It does all that right inside design space. Alright, and I'm going to go view. I'm going to adjust size again. See, they're actually at 17 by 22 and 300. This is actually a very big image. So you're never going to get any choppiness on your cut. No, it'll never happen. You could have left this at, I mean, by default it's going to be 17 by 22. That's twice the size. 8.5 is 17, and 11 and 11 is 22. But this is brought up to 300 dpi. So, and you can see when I put this all into PNG format, it's 1.3 megabytes, which before it was 800K approximately. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to shoot that down to 200 to show you how it changes. You're not back down to 682K, which is more, it's fine. And then I'm going to go 8.5. That's standard paper size, and 200 resolution. Watch, now it's down to 228. I'm going to go to default 72 pixels per inch is basically your monitor, what your monitor picks up. Alright, so now we're down to 46K. I'm just doing this for demonstration purposes. See, it zoomed it way down because it it's a smaller resolution image. But again, I want to point out now that you see it at 72 and the DPI at 72, when you bring it up in size, you could see the rasters, the pixels. And this is gonna this is set for 72 dots per inch. If you're gonna look at actual size, page size, you can't see it. But nonetheless, when you're working with these JPEGs in the Design Space software, it'll make it pretty much as clean as you can get it. And again, being that this was a 72 DPI when it was imported, it was actually twice that. It was like a 144 at 8.5 by 11. I hope that made sense, because the images that I have are 17 by 22. Alright, so you can still go back to adjust the size. See, I got 8.5, I got 72, and make that, you can go 144 to double it. Now this would be the basic size. And how I send it, because if you send it 17 by 22 at 72 resolution, that's the same thing as 8.5 by 11 at 144. It's all about the ratio of the size of your piece, the dots per inch or pixels per inch, and how it's going to cut on the machine. But here I would like to keep it at 17 by 22 at 72, or your resolution you bump up to 144 or 300 if you're concerned. The problem is when you're working with those larger images, it slows down a lot of computers. I mean, I'm limited. I've got 8 gigs of RAM, and you can get more RAM, more power. But again, if you just take the standard image file in a JPEG and import it into Design Space and do the alpha filtering, it'll clean all that. It'll be sufficient. So here I brought it back to the regular size. Just the size. We're back to 144, which is again 17 by 22 at 72 resolution. This is standard paper size at 144. You say okay. So if you wanted to, see, if you wanted to, you right here you're going to see what it looks like on a piece of paper. Now in Design Space as well, any image you import, you could actually crop it, resize it, actually distort and adjust the the width and the height. So in the Design Space software, it really does a lot. But I just wanted, with the point of this video, was just to show you the way to get a JPEG and turn it into a PNG. But honestly, if you're working with a Cricut and Design Space, to do it in the software is a lot more beneficial, because again, you can resize it. Like say this is, I guess it's 5 inches by 8 or so. You can make it 6 by 8, 6 by 7, 7 by 10. You could do all that in Design Space, and that's a whole nother video. But for the purpose of working with PNGs and showing how to create one with the background remove, the alpha tools, this is how you do it. Now here, this is PNG. If you hit the X out the button, this is already going to be saved as a PNG, and it's going to override the JPEG. So that's another reason why you want to do it in Design Space. You can do file, save as, or export to. You hit the save. I don't think it's going to override the JPEG that's there, but being I did it in preview from the original JPEG, it's probably going to just delete the original JPEG. So you can export it, use that feature. See, today it's showing the number 3 was now changed to PNG. See, it's no longer a JPEG. Alright, so that's the reason why you import. Okay, I could export it as a JPEG. You can do that too, so I can get it back to the original format. But it's going to be with the if you save it as a JPEG, you're going to see all these squares, all the checkerboards. That's that. So let's hit the cancel button. Again, I just wanted to show how to do that. This is really redundant to do this, but I've got a lot of requests from people that want the patterns in PNG and SVG, which is another option. If I open up the pattern into my pixel software, my Pixelmator, I can save it as SVG, and what that does, it does a super resolution. The computer actually rewrites the lines and makes the lines super clean. But now you're looking at, instead of a file that's 800K or 1 megabyte, it'll be 30 megabytes. It really does. That may be a made-up number, but it's a lot bigger. And for transferring files, especially on a scale of 8.5 by 11 print sizes, SVG is really redundant. There's no reason to have that high quality. Now, if you're making a poster, say a 5-foot poster of this image, yeah, you want to go ahead and convert to super resolution, which will actually redraws everything. It redraws all the lines, and then when you export it in SVG, you can now blow this up to 5 feet and retain all the crisp lines. In reality, for stained glass patterns, on a Cricut machine, you'll never do that. I don't think you can print something that big. And if you use, if you want to make larger prints, say with PDF, or, for blueprints or software that allows you to tile print, you can't do the super res or use the super res option that would actually benefit you for your patterns, because even changing the size, if you increase the size of the image, you also increase the width of the lines. So unless you're going to retrace them, or when you're cutting out your pattern lines, just follow the dead center. To do that and blow it up to that size is not going to be beneficial. It's better to go ahead and take the pattern like this, open up your drawing software, and in my case I use Pages, and what I do is I would actually select segments of the design and give them a border, a white border, so that'll actually squeeze these lines. So instead of these lines being 2 points, 2 pixels, basically it's 2 pixels. If you give it a 1 pixel border, it cuts it down to a half a pixel, or 3/4, whatever it is. But it makes the lines really thin, and then you can go ahead and blow it up to your larger formats. If the pattern was designed with, say, Dragonfly software, where all the images are all CAD quality, so basically if you have a 1 pixel line or a 2 pixel line, which is common, 2 and 3 are very common, and then you blow it up it'll retain that 2 pixel. We're going to stick with 2. That's the most common. It'll retain that 2 pixel because you're blowing it up as a workable image. It's not an image now. It's a workable file. CAD quality. And in my software, I have that ability as well. But I would have to go ahead now and change, instead of using a JPEG and removing background, I would just go ahead and select the lines, select all, and then change the width of the line itself, which these again are probably 2 points, pixels points. So I would just change it. I could change it to half of 1 point. So if you blow it up to say 3 foot, 4 foot, it'll blow it up to that same. If you're doing it on a print sketch type thing, it'll blow it up to a reasonable width. You can leave it at 2 and then just reshape the whole design and blow it up that way too, but that's even more involved. So again, it's line widths and actual using image files, JPEGs, and then the understanding that a PNG or SVG is simply the difference is the removing the background is the alpha tools, and SVG takes it a step further and will clean up heavily rasterized image or pixelate it, and that's basically it. But again, for vinyl plotters and using small stained glass patterns, you really don't need to go anything further than a simple JPEG. And then you could, in the JPEG itself, you could change the resolution. That helps out. But I always set mine out already at twice the size, so it'll be a 144 pixels per inch, or DPI, dots per inch. I always get confused. That's a pixel and that's a dot. It's the same thing. So I hope the video helped, and if it did, let me know. Question below, please, if you have any. No, there's no questions that's silly. I mean, I'm not a graphic. I guess I am a graphic designer, but I'm not. I mean, I know how all these things work, but and the mysteries of a Cricut machine and design space. It's really not that difficult. It's pretty straightforward. And if you do design stained glass patterns, just keep in mind is the raster effects, the pixelation, for your customers. So it's really important. You don't want to have something with giant, jumps, like points like this. Here I cleaned it up. I actually changed the DPI, but yeah, you don't want that because folks get upset. You see choppiness. And anyway, I hope you liked the video. And again, please ask the questions. I love answering. I do the best I can. Like I said, I'm not a professor when it comes to this stuff, but I'm pretty good. I know a lot about it. So just below, hit me up. And if you like the video, give me a thumbs up. I like that too. And again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care.